You did a 4,000-kilometer trip across the Northeast on a bike, and that's a lot of time, dedication, and
A lot of
riding.
5 a.m.s. And there was one day where, I don't know, both the bikes stopped working. We were just stuck. Nothing was working, engine wasn't starting. Then the one bike had a puncture. We were just sat on a hill, and then we just got chatting and we were like making daisy chains. And you don't get that kind of time with your parent anymore as an adult, I guess. His bike, about 70 kilometers before we reached Goa, it just fell
Gave
apart.
up the ghost, yeah.
So we had to put it on a tempo and then we had to ride pillion. I think riding pillion with your lover is the best thing.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of History on Wheels from sunny Goa. Now, every journey is not just about the destination, but it's also about conquering the terrain along the way. Now, in 2016, Royal Enfield Himalayan was launched. And not only did it conquer a lot of hearts, but it also forged its own path in the world of motorcycling. With its robust build, practical design, and unwavering, well, after a little bit of a hiccup, its unwavering reliability, it became synonymous with authentic exploration. Now, the guest on our show today is also known for her authentic exploration and for forging her own path. Like the Royal Enfield Himalayan crosses any terrain with ease, she has also crossed the divides between independent cinema and mainstream films with equal amounts of ease and success. She's none other than the incredibly talented and the utterly unique Kalki Koechlin. Kalki, thank you for being with us on History on Wheels. We're really excited to be in Goa. The Himalayan's all about the adventure of spirit and exploration and stuff like that. And you have been like that in your journey in films. You're kind of an explorer of all kinds of cinema. And is that adventure of spirit you in reality too?
I think it's always been there since childhood because my parents weren't very conventional. They were running a school for hang gliding and in the Nilgiris. So, my weekends were spent jumping off a cliff with a hang glider, wrapping it up. Or sometimes I was the designated driver when I got older to pick up the people who had landed.
Yeah.
So this whole lifestyle, the kind of, workshops they used to do for people who would come to learn how to fly, it's not your run-of-the-mill kind of people.
Correct.
So I guess I got that influence.
But where did the passion for biking come from? I mean, was that also very young?
That was also from my dad, yes. I used to ride pillion on the back of my dad's bike since I was like 15, maybe even younger than that. It was like our way of bonding. We used to go on these long trips. I remember when I was 16, I begged him to take me to Pachmari. Pachmari is a small village. You know where it is?
Know,
you know it?
From Indore,
In the
and
plateau.
it's a beautiful ride up.
It's a beautiful ride up. So my boyfriend at the time,
Oh, okay.
his parents were tiger conservationists.
Okay.
So I was like, we should go see the tigers, the tigers.
Yeah.
So yeah, he took me to Pachmari from Bangalore, which was like, I don't know, a 3-day trip, 2-day trip. And then, it's things like that. And then we also did a show, where we called The Great Escape, which was all through the Northeast, me and my dad.
So you did a 4,000-kilometer trip across the Northeast on a bike. And that's a lot of time, dedication, and
A lot of
riding.
5 a.m.s.
A lot of 5 a.m.s, yeah. And riding all day.
Riding all day because light would go down around 6 there.
Correct.
Because of the east, So, and then the roads are really, really bad, like really tough, which is great to have this kind of bike.
So did you
dirt
ride
bike.
yourself as well?
Yeah, both of us had a bike each.
Wow.
It was the first prototype of the Himalayan. It was a wonderful time, but also really hard and hardcore because we were getting up at 5 a.m. The roads were like for the whole time. But we got to stay in tiny little villages, which you don't get to see otherwise.
Yeah.
Staying in people's homes, like eating with the family,
Yeah.
on the floor with the fire, basically cooked on fire. And yeah, it's quite a different experience.
That's the whole joy about it, right? Road trips are all about that. It's about, you get to do so much more than if you flew from place A.
That's true.
You get to see so much more. You get to, like you're saying, you imbibed so much more of the local culture than you would have if you'd kind of taken a flight.
Yeah. And you get to know each other as a family too, me and my dad.
It's so much bonding on a road trip, yeah?
Yeah.
Lots of fights and lots of bonding
fights.
as well.
I remember the fights.
Yeah. What was the craziest time you guys had on that road trip?
There was one day where, I don't know, both the bikes stopped working. We were just stuck. Nothing was working. Engine wasn't starting. Then the one bike had a puncture. We were just sat on a hill, and then we just got chatting and we were like making daisy chains. And you don't get that kind of time with your parent anymore as an adult, I guess. I started young with the bikes. And, Pondi, Oroville is all about riding a bike. And then sort of just, went on these short trips. But when I got this, I started taking trips. And I also took my first trip with my current partner. He, it was kind of almost a test of our relationship. Early on in our relationship, we just went from Bombay to Goa.
Okay.
But we went in the monsoons.
Wow.
So it was like pouring with rain, everything was wet, nothing was dry. And his bike started falling apart as we were going. He had borrowed like a friend's bike, okay, and that bike was in bad shape. So every step of the way we were having to stop. They would fix it for another 100 kilometers, then again it would go down. So yeah, it was quite a challenging trip.
What's the wildest time you've had on that?
No, I think the wildest time was this trip to Goa with my partner, where we just didn't know where we would be every day, and we would be stuck somewhere where there was no hotels and all, so we were just like asking people for help. People are really accommodating actually when you're on the road like that. His bike, about 70 kilometers before we reached Goa, it just
Gave up the ghost, yeah.
So we had to put it on a tempo, and then we had to ride pillion. I think riding pillion with your lover is the best thing. When you're on a long road, you're biking 7 hours a day or whatever, you're very much on your own. It's just you and the road. There's so much that goes on and so much introspection that goes on because you have so much time on your own on this moving vehicle. At the same time, you have to be very concentrated on the present.
Yeah.
And that's what yoga or like meditation is, that you have to be in the moment. So any cow crossing or whatever, you got to be ready with the brakes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because you're on your own, you're like...
Introspective.
Yeah.
Is there a road trip that you kind of dreamt of doing, something that you said, okay, this is one road trip I want to do with my bike?
I think there's lots. Ladakh definitely is the next one in line. And then I would like to also go to maybe cross over to Bhutan, because Bhutan is also stunning. I've been there for a festival and it would be nice to go on the bike.
And great driving terrain.
Yeah.
And I drive, so riding terrain as well, but
yeah,
that's pretty much it. Well, it's been fun chatting with you, and since we're talking so much about riding, why don't we get on the bike and go for a ride?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
That was fun. Thank you for the ride. And I must say, it's more convenient having a bike in Goa than it is having a car, especially on these steep.
Yeah, some of these roads are really narrow.
Yeah, and I'd read a lot about this bike, about it being the first one with monoshocks in the RE range. And I see why now, because you were mentioning that you did all that crazy off-roading.
Yeah.
And it's still comfortable enough to ride around, and potter around. And
yeah, it's not the best bike for traffic because it's heavy.
Yeah.
But it's a great bike, as soon as you're on the road.
Best of both worlds. You can do this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah. know why it was called the Himalayan?
No, why?
Because way back in 1955, when Royal Enfield really came to India for the first time, they were used for the army. And they were used in Ladakh and the northern regions along the Himalayas. So when they were building this adventure bike, they kind of went back to their heritage and they thought they'd name it after the region where they wanted this bike to be ridden the most. So that's how the Himalayan came about.
No better way to have started my journey than in the Himalayas with this bike.
The Royal Enfield Himalayan was a concept conceived by CEO Sid Lal to be a purpose-built, affordable and reliable adventure motorcycle rather than a modified street bike. The Himalayan was set to be different from all other Royal Enfield bikes with an all-new chassis and powertrain. It came with a new 410cc long-stroke engine designed from scratch with unique technology for longer service life and maintainability, and a counterbalancer to reduce vibrations. The Himalayan was designed with a raw and rugged philosophy emphasizing simplicity and functionality. It was intended to be a versatile motorcycle suitable for both adventurous off-road exploration and everyday urban commuting. Development of the model started in 2014 with Pierre Treblanche, formerly of Ducati, and Moto Guzzi heading the design team. This highly adjustable prototype helped Harris Performance perfect their rider triangle and other aspects of the bike like wheel size, suspension travel, and more. By the end of 2014, Royal Enfield had a working prototype and conducted road test manners at the Chennai racetrack with the help of rally rider CS Santosh. Apart from the engine, the Himalayan was the first Royal Enfield bike to feature monoshock suspension with linkages to tackle all types of terrain as well. While the Himalayan opened to a massive fan following, it was soon plagued with concerns. Popular among them included engine reliability and chassis failure issues. RE quickly got on top of things and fixed the issue permanently, while also offering free replacements to affected owners. In 2017, they upgraded, offering electronic fuel injection and ABS as standard on the model, while 2021 saw the introduction of the Tripper navigation. With strong sales, Royal Enfield took the bold step to introduce an all-new Himalayan at the end of 2023. This model comes with an updated frame, a brand new engine and looks. The new model looks to address most of the concerns of the old model. And the new Sherpa 450 engine produces 40 bhp and 40 Nm, making it amply powerful. And this new model is still flying off the shelves. And while it does, Royal Enfield is reportedly working on future versions of the Himalayan which will be bigger and more powerful. Before we let you go, we're going to do a quick rapid fire round with you. Some easy fun questions.
Sure.
Car or bike?
Bike.
Day rides or night rides?
Day ride.
I'm such a car
Day
person.
ride.
Day ride. Riding in the hills or a nice coastal ride?
That's a tough one. Both are so nice. I think hills.
If your bike had an embarrassing moment of yours to talk about, what would it say?
Oh, definitely when I park in a place where I can't get out. Okay, because the bike is too heavy for me.
Yeah.
So if I park with a slight, let's say like in a slope or something, and then I need like the watchman to sort of like help me pull it out.
Since you ride, and nowadays we can wear our earpods and stuff like that, do you have a song that you like when you drive or ride?
Actually, you know what? I'll go with Beatles. Like,
I was just going to say, are you a Beatles kind of?
Hard days, night, when working like a dog. Yeah, I think because my dad's influence in music has also been quite strong, and all that 70s music has kind of remained. And those are the songs I used to learn by heart when I was a kid.
It's been a pleasure talking to you and having you on our show.
Thank you.
Happy riding.